Hello, and welcome to everyone who is tuning in today. Welcome to our Table Talk session, Getting Off to the Right Start International Edition. I'm Jill, and with me is my colleague Ziad, and we are your International Transition, Retention, and Support Coordinators from Student Success Services. We are super excited to have you all here today. Ziad will take us through the goals for today's session before we continue.
All right, let's have a look at the session today. Here's a list of what we will be covering. We'll start with land acknowledgement, overview of the session, introduction to panelists, frequently asked questions with panelists, live Q&A where you can submit your own questions, and finally we'll wrap up and have final reminders.
Before we begin, we would like to start with a land acknowledgement. We do this to express gratitude and to honor the Indigenous people who have lived and worked on this land historically and presently. We would like to begin by acknowledging the Indigenous people of all the lands that we are on today. Canadore College is located in Robinson-Huron Treaty Territory, and the land on which we are presenting to you from today is the traditional territory of the Nabising Anishinaabe. While we meet today on a virtual platform, we would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands on which we each call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. From coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call this land home.
Welcome to Canadore College's Holistic Orientation and Mentoring Experience. We are thrilled to have you here. So today's session, Getting Off to the Right Start, brings together a panel of experts from admissions, financial aid, and the International Office to guide you through the exciting beginning of your journey. This session is specifically designed for students who will be attending the College Drive or Commerce Court campus. So let's dive into this enriching experience together and set the stage for an incredible time at Canadore College.
For today's session, our panelists consist of Andrea Black, Financial Aid Officer, Angela Catahan, Associate Registrar, Sylvie Burns, Internal Admissions Officer, and Emil Mohammed Farhath, International Student Advisor. We also have additional support staff who are behind the scenes monitoring the Q&A and answering any questions that are submitted.
So let's get ready for an exciting session, all about admissions, financial aid, and international. If you have questions about departments or services, don't worry, we've got you covered. There will be other table talk sessions to cover all your questions, plus orientation videos you can explore on the Canadore orientation website, which will be shared in the chat. We know we've got a bunch of eager attendees, so to keep things organized, we'll be using the Q&A feature. Your questions will be answered and everyone can see them for added insight. If you want to be discreet, feel free to ask anonymously. Remember to please keep questions and comments respectful and appropriate. This session is being recorded and a copy of the chat transcript will be made available.
So we'll kick off the session by delving into some of the most frequently asked questions that we have received over the years. We'll cover all the key topics you've been curious about. After that, we'll turn our attention to the Q&A chat box and make sure to address any additional questions you may have. So get ready to have your questions answered and make the most of this engaging and interactive session.
All right, let's start with registration questions for Angela. If I have already accepted my offer, doesn't that automatically register me? And what is the difference between accepting an offer and completing registration?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Angela. Welcome, everyone. So because you accepted your offer, that means that you've secured your seat at the college in the program of your choice. Registration is the process of getting you into the courses that you require to take during the semester of study. So you will still be required to go through the registration process in order to be in the courses beginning in the new year.
All right, thank you. Second question, when does registration begin, and what if I'm unavailable to register at that time?
So most of the students have already received the email regarding registration with the times and days that their program will be registering. So registration is scheduled to open on Tuesday, December the 12th. Supports will be put in place to assist the students during that process if they need that support. The window for registration will remain open till the 10th day of classes for most programs. It will be in that email for those programs that are not, but it's usually the aviation programs that don't have till the 10-day, only the first day of classes, but the 10th day of classes is January 19th. So for most programs, you will still be able to register up to January 19th.
All right, thank you. Question number 3, how do I register for classes, and what happens if I have issues while I'm registering?
So in that, in the email that you received, and you will be receiving a follow-up email that also has a video in there to guide you through the registration process, but you will go to the self-service link and follow the instructions there. And then if you're having issues, there will be Zoom call supports going on during the day that you can just hop onto at any time, and we'll all be there to support you. People from the admissions office, financial aid will all be there to assist.
Thank you. Next question, what's my student number and where can I find it?
So your student number is typically it begins with an A. For some students that have been here longer than that, it may begin with a number, but you would have found that on your LOA or your offer letter.
Do I need to pay my full tuition before I can register for classes? How can I find out if I still owe tuition fees?
So yes, you will have to pay your full tuition before you register, or have some form of payment in place to show that you will be paying for your tuition. Payments can be made right through the registration process. So if you have not made your full payment, it will stop you and let you know the amount that you're required to pay. Otherwise, you would have received an invoice that lets you know how much is due for this semester of classes. And you can always reach out to the admissions office if you're not sure of how much you owe and how to make that payment.
All right, thank you. So next question, how do I submit a payment?
For most students, you could submit your payment through self-service, like I said, or through the bank. Flywire is also a method of payment for international students. So those are really the 3 main methods of payment.
All right, perfect, thank you. And final question from me, why do I need to complete a housing attestation before I register for classes? And what if I don't have housing yet?
So the reason for the attestation is so that we can take record of how many students do not have housing. So it will now not allow you to register if you don't have housing. And that allows us to keep track of the students that possibly have been late to get their housing or have not been able to get housing, and that way we can support them. So the attestation is really there to ensure that students are aware that housing is necessary before you can begin classes, and that the college is here to support that.
Moving on to questions related to class schedule and program delivery. I think we've got just a couple more for you, Ange.
Okay.
So starting out, how and when will I get a class schedule? And do I get to choose my own schedule?
So you'll get your schedule after you complete the registration process. This college and most colleges has block registration. So you register into a block of courses that you will be required to take for that semester. And that's to keep students on track so that they can successfully complete the program without missing any courses. Obviously, there can be some exceptions to those rules, but block registration and is the way that you'll be registering. The options that you will have is to select your gen ed if that is applicable to the semester that you're entering. So you will have a choice of picking your gen ed.
Perfect, thank you. Next up, how can I tell if my class is going to be online or in person?
So when you get your schedule, you can easily download it from the self-service page once you've submitted it. And you'll see on the schedule, if there's rooms attached to the course that you're taking, then that means it's face-to-face. If there is no room attached to it, but there is a scheduled time for it, that means it would be remote, but it would still be at a scheduled time.
Perfect. And what about hybrid? What does it mean if my program is hybrid? Do I need to be on campus?
You would still need to be on campus because some of the classes will be in class and some will be online. So you will still be required to be on campus.
Perfect. And last up for you, can I change my program before the start of classes?
Yes, you can. You can. There is a process in place to do that. However, we ask the students to keep in mind that programs fill very quickly and that options might be very limited at the time that you're choosing to change your program. So please reach out if that is what you're planning to do so that we can advise you properly on which programs are still available for you.
Fantastic. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so now we have visa and study permit questions for Sylvie. Do we need a visa approval letter for registration?
Actually, what you need is your study permit. So you're not able to register until you get to Canada and you have your study permit in your hands. You need to upload your study permit to your application on OCAS or to your account on OCAS.
And what happens if there are visa delays? Who do I reach out to?
Well, what happens is on December 22nd, that is the deadline for deferral. So if you don't have your visa by December 22nd, it's probably best that you submit your request to defer until the following available intake. You don't necessarily need to reach out to anyone in particular. If you have an agent, you ask your agent to submit your deferral request on your behalf. If you don't have an agent, then you would submit your deferral request directly on OCAS.
All right, thank you. And what should I do after I get my visa?
You should upload it to your account on OCAS, but again, probably best to wait until you have your study permit as well, because you need your study permit to be able to register.
All right, yeah, thank you. Where do we upload documents like PPR, LOA, and fee receipts?
Actually, for North Bay, you don't need to upload anything like that. That's more for those who are at the GTA campus. So they have something called pre-screening. North Bay does not.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next one. I'm waiting for the results of my visa application. If I can't attend in person, can I take the program online instead?
Unfortunately not. No, the delivery is set and there'll be no changes.
Can I start my classes without having a study permit?
No, you can't. You need your study permit to be able to register.
Next question. What is the refund policy for international students?
So you should always refer to our website under support and paying for college and look at the refund. There's different situations. So I really don't want to go into detail because there are several, aspects to it. So you always should refer to the website for that.
Okay, thank you. And next question. Do I need a travel support letter? how do I get an enrollment letter or travel support letter?
Travel support letters are no longer needed, so Canadore is no longer providing them. That was something during the pandemic when there was travel restrictions in place. Your enrollment letter, you can receive that from your self-service once you have web registered.
And last question from me. If an international student gets permanent residency either before commencement or during the study period, can they be converted to a domestic student?
Ange, would you be able to take that question for me?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I was answering some of the questions.
Oh, no
Sorry.
worries. Yeah, so if an international student gets permanent residency either before commencement or during the study period, can they be converted to a domestic student?
Yes, they can. So with the proper documentation, usually before the start of the semester, we will require that information. If it is during the semester, the tuition remains the same, and then for the next semester, they'll be considered a domestic student.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've got a couple more for you, Sylvie, related to deferrals and campus change. So first up, what is the last date for deferral?
The last date to defer is December 22nd.
Perfect. And can students cancel a deferral request?
Normally, the answer is just straightforward. It's no. The reason being is if you've deferred, we've given that seat to someone else.
Excellent. And lastly, can I change campus?
Unfortunately not. No, campus changes are not permitted.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Sylvie.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on to travel and arrival questions for Amil. First question, what is iSent and when are we expected to use it?
Hi, everyone. My name is Amil. I'm the International Student International Student Advisor, and yeah, nice to see you. Nice to be here in this session. So for iSent, it is a mobile app that is available both on Android and iOS platforms. It is very simple to install it. Like all you have to provide is your student number, your email, and your campus. Please provide the appropriate campus that you're going to on the iSend, because sometimes the information we provide are specific to campuses. And it is primarily used by our office to send any information and communication starting from pre-departure to up until after graduation. So it is a very useful tool throughout your journey here with us.
Thank you. Next question. What if there's a problem at immigration or while boarding a flight?
So if for some reason, unfortunately, you come across a situation and you're not able to board a flight or anything that doesn't go according to your plan, please reach out to us and send an email to international@canadorecollege.ca, and also try to CC international.admissions@canadorecollege.ca so that we are aware of the situation and provide support as and when possible.
Okay, thank you. Next question. What is the last date for international students to land in Canada?
Okay, so the last date is before the first day of classes. And that being said, you are expected to be here 2 weeks before so that you get accustomed and settled here. And you're also advised to attend our in-person orientation. And yeah, but the first day of class is before when you should be here.
Okay, thank you. Next question. What happens if you miss a lab or class due to travel delays?
Again, if for some unfortunate reason you're not able to be here and not attend any classes, please reach out to your program coordinator and get their guidance on that.
Okay, thank you. Will international students be picked up at the airport?
No, we do not pick up international students at the airport.
And final question. How do you get your social insurance number as an international student?
So social insurance number, it might be a very new term for most of you international students. It is a very confidential number, so you should not disclose that anywhere. That being said, can get it at the airport, you can get it online, or Service Canada, that after you reach the city that you're going to, you can reach out to a Service Canada office and you can get the SIN number. Or also we do provide SIN clinics during the first month that you are here, and a person from Service Canada comes over and meets you one-on-one to help you with getting the SIN number.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we've got a couple questions for you, Andrea, on the topic of financial aid. So first up, is there financial aid available for international students?
Yes, there is. So when you go to our website under support, you're going to see a link for scholarships and bursaries. Our scholarships are ending at the end of January, so make sure you read each one carefully. You'll have to submit criteria to let us know how you meet for the specific scholarship you're applying for. So make sure you check that out. I'll put the link in the chat. Sorry, what was the other question?
Well, that was the first question. So next up,
Okay.
yeah, next up we've got, how can I budget money for the school year so I don't run out? Do you have any tips?
Sure, I do. So by building a realistic budget for yourself, you're going to list all your income and monthly expenses for the school year, such as rent, food, and clothing. Eating meals at home instead of eating out and bringing your own coffee from home every day can help you save money. By meal planning ahead of time and buying no-name products can also help you save money. You can also show your student card at grocery stores and restaurants. They'll also have an extra discount for you as well.
Fantastic. Those are great tips. Last up for you, what is the best way to find out more about financial aid?
So we update our financial aid. It's under support. We update that regularly with dates to apply for things. Excuse me. I'm also getting questions regarding the jobs, and I've put the link in the chat on student employment while you're at school, dates to apply by, and the application.
Excellent. Thank you so much.